All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 33's after show. We're talking about Guardian Druids and stuff. If you have questions, chat room, go for it. Twitter, go for it. Email, go for it. And alrighty. Hello?
Well,
are we good?
While we wait for questions, I have a bit of a story.
Yes, fine.
I warned Bay this was coming, so...
Let me see if I can actually... I gotta find this picture, actually.
So...
Oh, do I have to actually open the channel now?
It's BlizzCon. It's BlizzCon 2013. And it's the Convert to Raid party. And I'm sitting there chatting with... Sitting there chatting with a bunch of my friends from Apotheosis and Something Wicked. And then I see Bay walk in. I'm like, oh, shit, I gotta go talk to Bay, get my Final Boss wristband. So I go talk to Bay, and we stand there and we chat. I'm like, you want Druids? I got Druids. Any Druid episode? I can hook you up.
Yep.
It's pretty much basically what I said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Word for word, actually. And then we're standing there and we're chatting, and then we see Mike B walk in, and then we think it's Mike B, we're not sure. And then we see Lore, and then we see Olivia, and we're like, okay, it has to be Mike B. And I'm like, we should go say hi to Mike B. And Bay's like, no, they don't come here to talk to us. They come here to like do other things. And I'm like, no, dude. The reason they're here is to chat with people and to meet fans. And he's like, no. I'm like, dude, you can stand here and be, and I use some sort of word that means coward. So I'm like, all right, well, you stand here and do whatever. I'm going to go talk to Mike B. So I went over and said hi to Mike B. And then Bay is like, looking all like, man, I feel like a doofus. So he comes over and I'm like, I don't know how many of you have watched How I Met Your Mother or know what the Have You Met Ted thing works. But that's pretty much what I did. So I said, hey, Mike B, I'm Nolan. I'm a huge fan. And have you met Bay? And they stood there and chatted about production and stuff for a little bit. So that's actually what happened, not the weird story that Bay told you a few months ago.
So the story, the moral of this tale is that you're the guy who knows everybody, and you should introduce us to everyone cool at BlizzCon.
Hey,
yeah.
You know everyone.
No, I feel like you and I are on the same level here with the knowing people.
Well, I don't even know. I just know who Mike B is. I just had enough drinks at that point.
Oh, I know who Mike B is. I've had a ridiculous man crush on this guy for like 5 years. His content and the way he does and how he's grown himself on the internet and stuff like that. Oh, it's amazing. It was like an idol thing. I mean, I've met Day 9, and obviously like Ghostcrawler walked up behind me, and I met Josh and Olivia and Pat and Coltrane, but like meeting Mike B was like surreal. I was like, I've watched you since I was a wee internet babe. Like, tell me how to internet. It was amazing.
Teach me how to internet.
Teach me, senpai.
All those guys that we met at BlizzCon, that's just the beauty of BlizzCon, is meeting all of these people. And everyone watching the show should remember that you should come to BlizzCon and hang out with us, with me and Bay and Arielle and Buraan if he makes it, which he should, because I think that would be really cool. I've followed you on Twitter for a long time. I'd love to hang out. But yeah, that's why you come to BlizzCon, is to meet people and to discuss things that you're mutually excited about, like production.
Yep.
Yeah. I
It's
think
experience.
me and Danish said we were going to go at some point.
We met Shappy too. Here's the picture. I met Shappy. I gave her a wristband, and she put it on her awesome like crocheted Shy of Happiness. It's pretty amazing. So we met a lot of awesome people. So you guys got to come out. And it's weird because
either. Like there was a couple of Druids that I really wanted to meet, and one of them didn't even tell me he was there until afterwards, and I gave him shit for it. And the other one was Soda, who won the World Championship, obviously. And he was going to come down and have a drink with me, but he vanished into his hotel room. I'm like, oh, you're a jerk.
Aww.
But Soda and I are buddies, so it's fun.
Yeah, we'll have to have something a little more pre-planned, because Final Boss was nothing like it is right now for this BlizzCon.
We had just started. I know I had joined the
14
show.
14 episodes. Mm-hmm.
And I had only hosted like a couple of episodes, so I definitely felt like I had kind of just joined the show's cast and was trying to represent it. But it's going to be very different going next year. It's going to be great. I think that we should hold a Final Boss party. But that's just me.
We'll have to talk to... I mean, it might be better to do like a conglomerate thing, like the CTR, FBTV, maybe something like that, because obviously Game Breaker will have their huge, big old thing.
Please.
Oh, yes, please. I got to talk to Pat or Colt about
that. A room that has a little bit more air circulation.
That room was a little bit nerd temperature. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I'm hoping for my guild to do like a house rental, not this like many hotel rooms thing, but I'm hoping for a something wicked house. So
Ooh,
maybe
yeah,
we
yeah.
can host some
People
parties
went to
there.
the Winter House, right? That was fun.
The Winter House, Blood Legion
Yeah.
House, Method House, yeah, they all had.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's cheaper than getting hotel rooms, like 4 hotel rooms. It's cheaper than that rented house. The thing about it is you got to go for like a week.
Yeah, but I would go because I went for
Yeah.
a week this last year, and it was
Yes.
absolutely the best decision, especially when you're flying from the East Coast, which I am, and if you never take vacation from your job because you're a workaholic, which I am. I was like, cool, I'm gonna take 5 days. It was glorious. It was beautiful.
Literally, the
No, it
only
was
vacation
awesome.
you take is to play games.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. And I took off days, when like expansions launch and oh yeah, I went to the beach once. But yeah, other than that, actually 5 days for BlizzCon was the first time I had ever taken 5 consecutive days from work since I started working at my company. So
Wow.
so yeah.
But to get this back, I feel like I'm taking over the show, but to get this back to Guardian stuff, the other thing I want to talk about while we're still waiting for questions to come in, is the whole Paragons of the Calaxy Scorpion buff thing, which we didn't get a chance to talk about in the main show.
Sure.
Can you throw up did you give him the log from Hans? You give him the log from
Yeah, from
Hans.
both. There's a 10-man and 25-man one.
Yes, I have 2 Paragons logs. Yes, sir. Which one do you want?
That's fine. Start with the 10-man one first.
Yeah, because the Paragons, the Scorpion buff from the Paragons of the Calaxy you get from Rickle is like ridiculous. When you pair that with Nature's Vigil, your raid basically, the health bar literally does not move. Like, you do so much damage and so much healing, it's redonkulous. And I think we have the 10-man one up on stream right now, but you can see that a Hans does more damage than the rest of the raid combined. I mean, part of that is
130.9 million.
Yep. And
Out
if you
of
look at the DPS, it says the percentage, right? It's like 77% of the raid damage is done by one dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's obviously just for the duration of the Scorpion buff. I've like snipped off the fight,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
all
can
snipped.
see what's.
Yeah.
But yeah, for that moment when you're using it, it's like you're so much damage. You just blow the boss up, and also so much healing because you're doing so much damage.
Yeah, totally. And 25-man, I guess, Brand, you can talk about that better than I can.
Well, in 25-man, it's a similar kind of situation, except obviously it's no longer 77% of the raid damage. It's like 50, just over 50. So you like double your raid's damage by using it. You also have a bit more vengeance, so you'll do more damage than you would do in 10-man. But yeah, not enough to compensate for the number of people. It's just so broken on that fight in particular, and for bears especially, because of we have so much crit, and we have a high passive armor, so we don't take as much damage as some of the other tanks might do in the Scorpion form. The Nature's Vigil buff affects the damage that we do, and also allows the damage to heal the thing. We're also often running with a multi-strike trinket, which procs off the attacks that you do, so you can do this swipe for like 13 million, and then it'll multi-strike proc for another million, and you go, oh great, thanks.
Of course. That's fine. Just get it in there.
So yeah, it is very, very, very broken.
And to be fair, like I've asked Watcher about this in the past, and he said it's not something that was intended, but they're not going to fix it. So okay.
The thing is, because in the dungeon journal it says, it's supposed to be a DPS buff, so one of your DPSs are supposed to take it and use it, and it scales based off attack power. It's all great, fine. But for some reason, tanks can pick it up, and that always confused me because it's supposed to say, it's only for DPSers, but nope. And then because its ability to scale entirely off either spell power or attack power, whichever is highest. Obviously, as a tank, you have like 300 attack power or 400 attack power compared to a DPSer is like maybe 100k or something.
Just to clarify real quick, someone in chat asked who a Hans is. A Hans is basically one of the best technical guardians around. He finds ways to push the spec further than anyone normally would. He's always around on TIB, MMO champ. He maintains a soloing thread on MMO champ, and he is the world #1 ranked tank PG person in the world. So he's incredibly good. Actually legit rank. Like he doesn't. There's some above him that are like all exploits, but he's like 132 waves or something ridiculous.
Oh wow.
So yeah. He's really good.
Yeah, there was a question earlier as well. I think I noticed in chat something about is it best to run with 2 amp trinkets for DPS? The question
DPS?
Is that a thing?
But yeah, no, you would probably want to run Harams plus the Thox tail tip.
Yeah, Harms and TTT, because Harms is singular is better than any amp trinket. It's like almost twice the DPS of any amp trinket, and the amp trinkets aren't multiplicative. I don't think the crit damage is multiplicative. I think it's just additive. So harms would still be better than any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I mean, harms. So if you think about the amp trinket, right? Like, one of your amp trinkets is only going to be giving you the passive stat it has on the trinket, so it increases your haste, increases your mastery, and increases your critical damage. And if the critical damage increases, what, like 8% or something, on top of your for the trinket, I think, which is on top of your critical damage. So I think it's like a 4%, 5% DPS increase. Overall.
Yeah, it's not multiplicative like the meta is.
Yeah, so that means that Harams, which the multi-strike procs are already 5% of your damage plus the agility proc, is still going to be better.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question for you guys. If we've exhausted that topic.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we covered that in the after show itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, definitely. But this is a question kind of that it's one of those general questions that we like to ask everybody on the show. And my question for you guys would be sort of as a follow-up to the what keeps you playing your bear. If you couldn't play your bear, what would be your favorite alt to play? Or is that just not an option for you? If you can't play your bear, then you'd probably not be playing WoW.
Quit the game.
Well, as I've mentioned before, some people probably already know this, but I'm going to be swapping spots with Reese and Warlords. So she's going to be tanking, and I'm going to be doing something. I don't know what yet. Ideally, I would go Moonkin. That's my plan. However, I'm not like 100% sure yet. But if I had a choice, I would play my bear. But in situations where I don't have a choice, i.e. where we have two really good tanks, Sonya and Reese, then I would... Moonkin is what I'm trying to do.
My Feral Druid.
Oh, the Feral Druid.
Yay! He's hanging out. Sorry.
That's and we already have enough melee that I don't, or we're already going to have a Feral Druid, so I don't want to bring two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see.
Also, who chooses to play melee? Who chooses to play melee?
Oh yeah,
if you have the
choice.
Melee, then why would you play melee?
I mean,
I
my
prefer playing Feral to playing Moonkin.
So for what it's worth.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
What about you, Buraan?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I should say probably before I answer the question that I have 1 Druid on US, 3-4 Druids on EU. So
you're a Druid addict.
So I play lots of Druid.
Like you.
However, in Throne of Thunder,
didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. In Throne of Thunder, I played Warlock as my main alt, and I often pick up a tanking alt. So I played Brewmaster a bit for the first couple of tiers, and Prot Warrior for this Siege Wargammer as an alt. I think if I had to pick one to play instead of a Guardian Druid, I would probably still pick a tank, and it would probably be a Brewmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the other Agi tank, I can see why.
Mm. I mean, I have a Paladin. I played a Paladin, played a DK, and I played a Warrior. Paladin is nice, but I probably prefer one of the other specs more, like Holy or Ret. And Prot, yeah, it's quite fun actually, especially now it's been changed. But I think I prefer the playstyle of the Brewmaster a bit more.
Yeah, I can totally see that that you would prefer the Brewmaster playstyle. Because I know thinking about what I would play if I was tanking and I couldn't tank on my Paladin, I would go straight for Warrior, just because shield tank is what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So, putting that in perspective for you guys, like since you guys are Agi tanks, I can see how you would go from Bear to Monk for your preferred kind of playstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Nice. Yep.
Oh, here's a question from Hearthfire in chat. What makes Guardians fun to play? And I like that. That's kind of a general question.
Well, I mean, Cataclysm, the big draw was obviously bearcatting. Now,
Other than just being a bear, I guess.
That's how I want to answer the question, but that feels like kind of a cop out.
Yeah.
I like the. I was going to say I like the aesthetics of a bear, but the problem is like Savage Defense doesn't really have an aesthetic, which is kind of disappointing, and something I've complained about religiously. Mangle just feels really fun to press, to be honest with you. Like it's a really fun ability to press. Mm-hmm. It has a great sound effect to it. It does a lot of damage. It has a really cool name. It's just something that it's a button I really enjoy pressing. And I love being able to like stay alive long after my healers are dead.
Yeah.
One time we did Horde on in TOT, and we had no healers from 40% or 45% to 0, and we just frenzy regen our way to victory. It was pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And following on for that, like Mangle being a pretty cool thing to press. Both of our cooldowns involve pressing Mangle more, so...
Yeah. I mean, that's really important. There has to be that button that's really, really cool that you push. I mean, I think all of us could name one for our spec, 1 or 2 buttons that it's like, this spell is really awesome. I love this spell. So, yeah.
Berserk is especially awesome because it means Mangle now hits 3 things, so you get 3 times the spell effect.
3 times the Mangle!
Awesome. The numbers, huge numbers go up, it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Such good ability. Leaf, I hate you, just so we're clear.
So Bear asks, what is the greatest strength of a Guardian, and what is its biggest weakness?
Right now, survivability, just by yourself, is easily the biggest strength. Weakness, I mean, we've talked about this during the main show, but lack of usable raid cooldown on the band, I think is biggest weakness.
Yeah.
And obviously, anything that is non-dodgeable goes through armor.
Yeah, which I have complained about vociferously before specific abilities.
Then we've got.
Here's one from Ragier. This is actually kind of a neat question. So, with the expansion coming to a close, are there any games coming out that you're looking forward to playing, other than Ari because Dragon's Age? I don't know what that means. Clearly, you're very excited about Dragon's Age.
Dragon Age Inquisition comes out in fall of 2014, and I'm a huge BioWare fanboy, which you can probably tell by the shirt. I also have a bunch of figures sitting over on my desk, but I'm really looking forward to playing a Crusader in Diablo 3. Like,
cool.
I played them at BlizzCon, and Crusaders look so cool.
Nice.
No,
how about you, Buraan?
Here is the storm hype? No?
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm, I think I'm definitely will play a lot when it...
idea.
Yeah.
Are you in that? Are any of you guys in that right now?
No, not yet. Although to be fair, it's always people that are like much higher up on the list than we are. So.
Otherwise, games I'm planning on playing. It's mostly getting through my list of games that I have on Steam that I've got from the winter sale that I haven't been able to play over Christmas.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Because
what would that what games? What games are on your list?
Went on way longer than it should have done. Let's see. There's a lot, so it doesn't come off the top of my head. I'll open up Steam.
Good idea.
But because progression ended and then it sort of restarted because I had to go to 25 man, so we sort of had to get the raid together. That's been going on quite a long time, and we finished this last week. I posted an article about it on Nick Bear, and otherwise, I've been doing on my house and changing jobs and stuff, so I haven't really had any time to play anything other than. So I have this backlog of I want to play some Kerbal Space Program. I want to play some.
That game is so silly. Yeah,
I know, but it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to play some Age of Empires 2 HD because I used to play it a lot, back in the day. That sort of stuff. Yeah.
Talking about the Steam list, I've got all of the Assassin's Creed games, all of Far Cry, Portal, which Rusi and I still have to co-op. Portal 2, which Rusi and I still have to co-op on stream, and we keep not doing it.
Good game.
I haven't finished Hom 6 yet, which is really bad. I should have finished it a long time ago. Torchlight 2, I still haven't finished those. Witcher,
There's just not enough hours in the day. I totally understand.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bear question was...
sleep. It's kind of unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. Relshim, I think? Relsim wants to know about what do you guys think about the 30-second bark skin? If you'll stick around, or we'll go back to being longer cooldown.
Just not going to stick around.
Not going to stick around?
Probably go back to 1 minute. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, considering the change was made specifically for Nazgrim, I really doubt it's going to stick around.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about your ability. I guess you guys don't think it's going to stick around. I know that the equivalent paladin ability, very equivalent paladin ability, I'm just like, this cooldown's too short. I mean, honestly, it's awesome and it's cool and I love bragging about it and I love using it almost on cooldown, but it really should be a minute, not 30 seconds. I mean, at least that's how I feel. It would play better that way.
It was part of the package of...
It's just bad for the game, right? So
yeah.
It was part of all the package of things that bears got changed before this tier to make sure that we weren't going to suck. Like the increase to health and the reduced cooldown and bar skin were the key bits there. That's not going to stay around.
Understandable.
Because they weren't exactly going to rework the whole active mitigation for bears mid-expansion. That's a bit... Yeah. Need an expansion to that sort of thing.
Yeah, they'll wait for it later on, so...
Yep.
Pickles wants to know, Arielle, if the RNG gods continue to troll you, or are you still going to continue farming Ordos for your pants?
Oh my god. It's not fair. Drev and I have the same problem. Where we cannot get our items to drop to save our lives. Somehow Hamlet got his pants. I don't know. Like, it's just not fair.
Well, Mashni got Bink's pants, but I don't think he's gotten his own yet.
You got the wrong one.
About that.
I don't think Olivia's got
all I want to do is to be able to transmog them.
Hell no.
Because, as far as I know, like, you can't see the pants under the robe for the CM here, which is fine.
Oh, I'm so jealous of you guys because I can't do that with my neck. You can't transmog necks, and so you can just transmog your item onto your pants indefinitely. That's really cool.
So I can see the name, because I'm sorry, like druids don't actually wear pants. We wear robes. Yeah, I can just keep it on. Definitely, you don't actually have to see it because I think the color scheme is not that good, but I just want to have the name there. That's what I want.
Well,
yeah, maybe I'll do orders on my new druid. Get the pants, control you.
I do, and I'll be.
I've
already got them on my main though, like from quite a while ago. I used them for a bit. Then they weren't good enough.
Yeah, mastery, right? So, no bueno.
Again,
I got a question from Gannicus. I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
He says, "Do you think bears are lacking in AOE situations?"
No, not technically. No, we do have. I think probably. I mean, arguably the second weakest AOE behind DKs, or ahead of DKs, I guess, but behind Paladins. But it gets the job done, so not really.
In my guild, it's always the Paladin has AOE aggro problems and have no problem. Because the thing is, like, you pair Incarnation and spam Thrash.
Well, yeah, you just spam Thrash because it actually hit. See, this is the part I don't understand about Thrash and Lacerate. Like, why does Thrash's initial hit ignore armor, but Lacerate's doesn't? Like, I don't. Whatever. That's my reaction. Is whatever.
For another time, but yeah, it's Bear AoE aggro is fine. AoE DPS is fine in general. I haven't had any issues picking up anything in any of the instances recently. So, or even at the beginning of the tier. So.
I mean, it's not like monks or it's not like warriors or anything, but warriors are just broken. So, yeah.
just so the warriors.
It's not like as overpowered as some other, but it provides you can keep aggro over DPS no problem. And
easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess there's a follow-up to that. Relia Sim, I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry.
That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah, it says, would you like to see them add a ranged AoE ability, like Death and Decay or Amongst Dizzying Haze? And I was going to say, as a follow-up to that I don't think every tank has a ranged AoE ability. I suppose Avenger Shield counts, kind of.
Sort of.
But how do you put Consecrate to put Consecrate at range?
Yeah, you can glyph it.
You can, yeah, that's true.
Does anyone actually glyph Consecrate? I don't know.
I don't know, I haven't
actually that's the thing. If there was a need in a fight to pick up ads at range, you might glyph Consecrate to put it at range. And I mean, these sorts of things don't matter until you need them, right?
I mean, if you want to range pull a group, I mean, you have Hurricane. Like, it's not... I mean, Hurricane's not good, but it exists. But I haven't needed a range AoE beyond Discharge and Thresh, so...
You have Fairy Swarm to pull from range, though.
You mean Fairy Fire?
Which
is single target?
Yeah, but it's one target, not AoE, not ranged AoE.
That's what I'm saying, though. The Fairy Swarm should be AoE then, maybe. AoE Fairy Fire.
Yeah,
There you go.
Fairy Swarm sounds like it should be AoE, but it isn't.
It should be, yeah.
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 I don't know.
Silly.
It's like I've used Fairy Swarm once in my entire life, and that was for a dungeon achievement in Forge of Souls. So.
Yeah. In terms of controlling ads at range, though, you have Typhoon and Vortex, and that tends to get the job done until you can get there and hit them in the face.
Yep. Totally true.
Yeah, I would say that just because monks have Dizzying Haze, and, we all kind of sarcastically talk about how it's a strong ability, it doesn't necessarily mean that every tank needs exactly the same thing.
No.
We've all got different tools. Some of us have better tools, and some of us have less good tools for that specific situation, but if your tools are doing the job for every encounter, then why would you need more?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty big general theme, right? Like, if Blizzard designs encounters that require you to have something that only exists in one of the tank specs, you're going to have that tank to kill the boss.
And they've already
designed things in mind.
Yeah, they've always come out and said that or for Mythic anyway, they're going to try and design everything mostly around 2 tanks and sometimes 3 if it turns out to be a good way to do things. Which means every tank has to be capable of doing every encounter. So.
Yeah. We'll have to figure that out, yeah.
I think some stuff in chat about bear visuals.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the big... one of the primary complaints I hear from Guardians is that, like, outside of Incarnation, like, you don't get any sort of aesthetic visuals to a Guardian. Like, you can't use shapeshift items. You don't get to see your gear. There's basically no visual to Savage Defense at all. I understand why people wish that would be changed, but the problem is the return on investment for that is just so bad for Blizzard that it probably won't happen anytime soon.
Yeah. The only thing that you can do to change the bear is eat stuff that makes you smaller or bigger. So you can have a little tiny bear.
Yeah. Remember
That's
Kyril's?
quite fun.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kyril's is
pretty
annoying
good.
because, like, especially trying to do dungeons.
Through doors, man.
Exactly. You go into like Scarlet Monastery or something. It's like, oh, my arse is too big. We have to stop and wait for this frock to wear off or flick it off. So silly.
It was a good proc. It was just really hilarious.
Yeah.
A couple questions came back in. Bear wanted to ask, in the past, Guardian tanks have often been named the off tank because, the cat form thing and the one feral spec but in mists. Has this changed? Are you still considered the off tank to warriors or paladins? Or, in your guys' situation, are you always the main tank and they're your off tank? How's that work? Fight dependent?
No,
Those labels don't really exist as much anymore as they used to.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
every tank needs to be capable of doing pretty much every role in a raid encounter. Some are better than others. Like monks have problems on Siegecrafter, heroic Siegecrafter, because of lack of buffs to kill the or lack of DPS cooldowns to kill the shredders with. But really, those sorts of labels don't really exist anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of tanks, and I really like that. I feel like that's been a shift in the way that tanking in general has worked over the last 2 expansions, that
Agreed.
main tank, off tank is not, it's not really a meaningful way to delineate different tank roles in the raid. It's generally more like which tank is going to do which job in which encounter, and that's not always, the guy who's always throwing the pull timer. So
yeah, it's usually not dependent on class. It's more dependent on the person playing the class, person behind the character.
And the only time I really feel like there's any kind of off-tank, main-tank difference is, I guess, when you're doing farm or something and you have a tank trying to whore vengeance for some reason and getting many stacks, and then you're sitting there going, okay, I'll just sit here and scratch the boss. That's the only time you have sort of like a proper main tank, off-tank thing. Otherwise, in progression, you're supposed to be sharing all these things, and Blizzard has gone to quite a lot of effort to make sure that most bosses require some kind of activity from both tanks pretty much all the time. Or at least, even if it's not you're always both doing something, it's like you always get equal amount. So like Mark Rock, I guess you share the debuffs in a certain way, stuff like that. So.
Okay.
And if your tanks like each other, then maybe they split the difference between, you get to whore vengeance this week, and you get to do all the vengeance
precisely.
stuff the next week.
My next week of raiding is going to be very boring.
Well, because you're doing ranks this week, right? So you're
for a couple of the bosses, yeah. So Foresign's doing it next week.
Yeah. Whereas for us, I mean, I try to give Sunnier as many fun jobs as I can, but like things like Siege Crafter just doesn't work out because you, as a monk, you really have a really hard time killing a shredder without 5 stacks. So.
All right.
Well, here's a question from Anatore from Germany. Greetings from Germany. What are the advantages to bringing a bear over a DK or a warrior tank for 10-man hard mode?
Over a DK or a warrior. It's hard to see. This is one of those weird questions where it's like you're comparing individual tank classes, assuming people behind the characters are the equal skill. Like warriors are just so good right now that if you're choosing based on spec for some unknown reason that I don't understand, then you would bring a warrior because A, they can use their raid cooldown while tanking, and B, their DPS is so ridiculous that's hard to turn down. Whereas for a DK, you have a raid cooldown, whereas DKs don't, and you have a lot of utility that you can use while tanking that DKs otherwise can't. I mean, they have bloodworms, right? I think those are a thing, and they kind of like pop and heal things, but you have a lot more control over your off healing as a druid than you do as a DK. I think. I mean, I don't know what blood DKs and Raniat will probably crucify me, but you know.
Yeah. There was one more question real quick. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Sonoshi asked, been playing Druid for about 4 years. I was wondering if you missed, they may have missed the main show, if you missed the cat bears and how you feel about not having that hybrid spec feel anymore. Like now you're a Guardian Druid, you are a bear, and then like nothing else outside of a small window. Like do you miss it? Obviously, you went over this earlier, but to reiterate.
I mean, I think they could have gone with a shorter cooldown duration in Heart of the Wild to make it more fluid, a more fluid switch. Okay. As opposed to basically like requiring 45 seconds of well, not necessarily 40, but 45, but like at least 35, maybe 40 seconds of not tanking something. They could have shortened it to like maybe a 2-minute cooldown and a 15-second duration or something to make it more of a fluid switch, to make it feel more like Bearcat of old. But I mean, there are probably PvP reasons they didn't do that. So.
Yep. There's that silly word again.
See, I feel like if we played like show bingo, then we could have like different terms and all of the different squares, and like clunky would be one of them, and skill would be one of them.
Utility.
PvP reasons would be one of them. Utility. Yeah. We could. Honestly, we should do that. I'll send it to Celestial and bet he'd like it.
FBTV drinking game.
Yeah, FBTV. Yeah, FBTV bingo.
Whenever I talk about SWOTOR,
could play it. Yeah, exactly. May talks about SWOTOR. Anna makes a paladin. Makes a paladin.
Oh well, no, you'd kill people, Anna. Don't say that. Yeah. Oh,
there was. I remember. I have this feeling I was going to make a SWOTOR drunk at some point. Oh, yeah. Never mind. It was during. It had to do with my original Prot Warrior's name, and it was going to be a Star Wars joke, but it didn't actually happen. So never mind.
Here we go. I actually have a question that I'd like for us to end on if you let us just do one more, Bay.
Yep.
From Hunting Bear from last week. Hey, Hunting Bear. He says, what's the area, your opinion, where Guardian tanks need to improve the most in Warlords? Survival, threat, mobility, hybridness, like Paladin tanks have, or anything else? So, where would you like to see improvements?
Guaranteed damage reduction.
Yeah.
Yep. For things that are not auto attacks.
It's a really good one.
That are not dependent on cooldowns, basically. So, guaranteed damage reduction that's not dependent on like a cooldown like Barkskin or Survival Instincts for damage types that are not covered by Tooth and Claw or Savage Defense. That would be my personal preference.
Yeah, guaranteed damage reduction. I guess that's a pretty clear answer. Listen up, devs.
Yeah. Anything else on that, Buraan?
No, that's pretty much. I mean, that's the thing.
That's it.
That's the only reason that people are going to be complaining about Guardian Druids, basically. In general, like, oh, I can't play this. All my guilds tell me I need to reroll or whatever. It's mostly down to that and the way the active mitigation works. Or, I mean, the other thing is, if they do keep it how it is, which I'm pretty sure they're not, but anyway, make sure you design the encounters with those sort of things in mind. Because as soon as you design an encounter where XYZ active mitigation style is super broken, then it's just not going to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds pretty much wrap this up. It's button time. But I thank you guys again, of course. If you do have questions for after shows, you definitely got to be here for these, because we go over everything that's else. It's random, and if you have questions for... we're not doing any... I don't think we're going to take any questions for next week's show. After, of course, the Trivial Pursuit, which is next week, which is right here again. The 23rd of March is going to be the WoW Trivial Pursuit special event. Live, crazy wickedness, crazy awesome things. So the teams are Alex and Laws of Fat Boss, because they're in the same damn room. I'm paired up with Brutal. Latomi is paired up with Novel, and Elvine and Anna are paired up.
AKA Team Win.
Team Pink. Oh, Team Win.
No,
okay.
it is Team Pink.
Yeah. So, and for those of you thinking about it, WoW Trivial Pursuit has 6 different categories of questions, not all lore-based stuff. So Novel isn't going to just win because he's the Encyclopedia WoW Tamika. So, but yep, that's going to be what we have on next week. And again, to go around the table, Arielle, you can follow him on Twitter at ArielleEJ, and there's the Griffin. Thank you, sir. That's awesome. Anything else? Any closing remarks? You good?
No, just make sure you're paying attention to TIB. Check out the Team Waffle podcast.
Yep.
Both Buraan and I stream raids every week, so watch those two.
Yep, the Inconspicuous Bear, the INC Bear is what he's talking about. So go check them out if you need Druid stuff, community want to join. And then Buraan shapeshifted again. He's
very nice. I like it. I like it.
Just for the end.
Just for the end. He's on Twitter at Chris Richardson. You can follow him there and bother him and ask him questions about the beta and bear stuff. And it's kind of scary looking at this thing right now. It's like, that's amazing. All right, thank you again for being on the show, sir. It was awesome.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a great time. Happy to be here, as always, of course.
Anna is over on Twitter at Annafield.
Yep, at Annafield.
I think Elliot wants to play, Anna.
He's been pretty wild behind me. He's a wild kitty because he knows he's got some feral broskies here hanging out.
Yes, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's clearly what it is.
Got to rep our feral brethren.
And then you can go follow me over on twitch.tv at BayTLM. That's where you'll find all my social media, and you can talk to me outside the show. And I'm an enhancement shaman, and people have been asking me when's the enhancement episode coming out because we already did Red Paladins, and I'll say soon. Soon TM. Soon TM, of course. But we'll see you next week.
For last.
Yeah, well, maybe. We'll see you guys next week for the Trivial Pursuit episode, and then we'll find out who's on the show after that. But have a good weekend, have fun at work, trust in the coin. Until then, we'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.